My name is Tony, and I'm 42 years old. This story, though it began over a decade ago, isn't just a memory, it's a wound reopened. The audacity of someone who should have stayed in the past forces me to share this now. And if you're listening, Sasha, yes, you, I hope you're burning with shame. Let me take you back to the beginning. Sasha wasn't always my sister-in-law, she was my best friend first. From middle school onwards, we were inseparable. We shared secrets, laughed until our sides ached, and supported each other through every teenage drama. Oddly enough, I didn't meet her brother, Noah, until college. It wasn't intentional, he was just never around when I visited their home. When I finally did meet him, it wasn't through Sasha. It was a chance encounter at a bar. I recognized him instantly from family photos at her house, but he didn't know who I was. He approached me confidently, completely unaware of the connection. I decided to let it play out. By the end of the night, I revealed the truth. His shock was apparent, but he didn't falter. "You're too pretty to let go," he said, his eyes alight with sincerity. After Sasha gave her blessing, we started dating, and 2 years later, we were married. We moved into a house next to Sasha and her husband, Brett. Our lives intertwined even further when Sasha gave birth to her daughter, Vaya. From the moment I held her tiny hand, I adored her. Vaya had the brightest smile, the kind of laugh that could lift your spirits instantly. But she was born with partial blindness, and those first 5 years were a struggle for her. Her parents, however, refused to accept her condition. They acted as if sheer willpower could compensate for her visual impairment, pushing her into situations she wasn't prepared for. It wasn't about helping her adapt, it was about pretending nothing was wrong. One incident still haunts me. We were at a park one afternoon. While Sasha chatted away, I realized Vaya wasn't with us. Panic surged through me. "Sasha, have you seen Vaya?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Don't worry about it," she replied, utterly nonchalant. "Don't worry? How can you be so calm? She could be in serious danger." "Tony, relax. She's fine." My patience snapped. "She's visually impaired. What if she gets hurt? How could you be so irresponsible?" Sasha shot back, her tone dripping with defensiveness. "She's my daughter, not yours. Stop telling me how to parent." Ignoring her protests, I began retracing our steps. My heart raced as I scanned the park. Finally, I spotted Vaya near the cycle path, her small hands fumbling for something to guide her. Relief flooded me, but it was short-lived. She was too close to the path, and a group of cyclists was approaching fast. Time seemed to slow as I sprinted toward her. Before I could reach her, she stumbled and fell onto the path. The cyclist swerved, brakes screeching, but it was too late. I lunged forward, pulling her out of harm's way just in time. Holding her tightly, I tried to calm both of us. She clung to me, crying, while Sasha stormed over. "You shouldn't have interfered," she snapped. "She needs to learn to navigate on her own. She's 4 years old and visually impaired." I shot back. "She could have been killed." Sasha rolled her eyes. "She'd have been fine. Maybe a few scratches at most." "You're overreacting." I stared at her, incredulous. "Your ignorance is dangerous. One day, it'll cost her." Sasha stormed off with Vaya, dismissing my concerns as she always did. After that, she grew distant, shutting me out completely. I rarely saw Vaya anymore, and it broke my heart. A year later, Sasha and Brett showed up at my doorstep, unannounced. They had Vaya with them, along with a pile of bags. "Hi," I greeted them, confused. "Are you going on a trip?" Sasha hesitated before responding, "Yes, a couple's trip. We were wondering if you and Noah could take care of Vaya while we're away." "Of course," I said. "How long will you be gone?" Sasha's next words left me frozen. "Forever. We're done with her. She doesn't fit the image of the child we wanted." "What?" My voice trembled with disbelief. You can't just abandon her. She's your daughter. Brett handed me some papers. We've signed over our parental rights. She's your responsibility now. I clutched the papers, shaking with rage. She's not a burden. How could you do this to her? Sasha waved a hand dismissively. Save the drama. You care about her, so keep her. With that, they walked away, leaving Vaya behind. Vaya tugged at my sleeve, her innocent eyes searching mine. When will Mommy and Daddy be back? Tears streamed down my face as I held her close. It's going to be a while, sweetheart. But I promise, you're safe with me. Her cries echoed in the empty space they left behind, a haunting reminder of her parents' cruelty. And in that moment, I vowed to give her the love and care she deserved, no matter what it took. As I held her close, her small frame trembling in my arms, I whispered words of comfort, letting her cry as long as she needed. When I finally brought her inside, her tear-streaked face looked up at me, and she asked softly, "Will you send me away too?" My heart clenched. The ache was unbearable, but I stayed composed. "No, sweetheart," I said gently. "You're staying here with me and Uncle Noah now." Her wide, tearful eyes searched mine. "Does that mean my mom will come back?" I hesitated, choosing my words carefully. "I don't know, darling. I can't say for sure." A flicker of a smile appeared on her face. "Okay," she said with a shrug. "You and Uncle Noah are more fun than my parents anyway." I couldn't help but chuckle. "Thank you, sweetie. We'll take good care of you. And we'll always be here for you." "Can we have more game nights and movie nights?" she asked eagerly, her eyes lighting up for the first time. "Absolutely," I promised with a warm smile. "We'll make every night special." "Yay!" "I love you, Aunt Tony," she said, throwing her arms around me. "I love you too, Vaya. Always remember that." That evening, I shared everything with Noah. He was livid, furious with his sister and brother-in-law for abandoning their child. He called them repeatedly, but the line always went to voicemail. Slowly, we began to accept our new reality. Despite the circumstances, taking care of Vaya was a joy. Though neglected, she was remarkably sweet and well-behaved, a ray of sunshine in our lives. As days turned into months and months into years, Vaya blossomed. Her laughter filled our home, and she brought a joy we never knew we needed. By 6 months, she had stopped calling us Aunt Tony and Uncle Noah. We were her parents in every way, and she was our daughter. Although still mostly blind, she adapted beautifully. At 12, her doctor shared surprising news: a groundbreaking medical advancement could restore up to 85% of her vision. Noah and I were stunned, hopeful, and eager. That evening, we sat Vaya down. "Sweetheart," I began gently, "how do you feel about the possibility of seeing again?" She looked down, her voice trembling. "I'm scared, Mom. What if I lose what little sight I have left?" I reached for her hand. "It's okay to be scared," I reassured her. "We'll find the best doctors and make sure you're in safe hands." Her eyes met mine, filled with uncertainty but hope. "Really, Dad? You promise it won't make me fully blind?" Noah smiled and nodded. "We promise, sweetheart. You'll be in the best care possible." After a moment's thought, she whispered, "Okay. I want to do it. I want to see what you and Dad look like." Her words melted us. The thought that we were the first faces she wanted to see brought tears to our eyes. In the month leading up to the surgery, we made every day count. Game nights, movie marathons, and endless laughter filled our home, easing the tension. When the day finally arrived, we held onto each other tightly as the doctors performed the procedure. The surgery was a success, but the recovery would take 6 months. Throughout the journey, we stood by Via's side, cherishing every milestone. The day she saw our faces clearly for the first time was unforgettable. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she said, "You're even more beautiful than I imagined." I love you both so much. We hugged her tightly, overwhelmed with love. Since then, she made it a point to compliment us daily, saying it was her way of making up for years of not being able to. Our little family had found its rhythm, and life was blissful, until one summer day, everything changed. Noah and I were preparing lunch while Vaya spent her vacation with friends when a loud, insistent knock echoed through the house. My heart raced as Noah cautiously opened the door. He froze, his face turning pale before quickly shutting it. "What is it?" I asked, alarmed. He hesitated before whispering, "It's Sasha." I didn't even think. On autopilot, I threw the door open. There she stood, looking apologetic, her hands clasped nervously. "Tony," she began, "can I come in?" My voice was firm, cold. "You're not welcome here." "What do you want?" "I'm sorry," she pleaded, her voice cracking. "I was young and stupid. I made mistakes, terrible mistakes. But I've changed. Please, I just want to meet my daughter." My anger boiled over. "You abandoned her. She's no longer your daughter. You signed over your rights. You don't get to walk back and like nothing happened." Tears welled in Sasha's eyes as she stammered, "Please, Tony. I need to talk to her. Brett is sick. He needs stem cells. Vaya might be a match." Her words hit me like a punch. "You came back because you need something? Not because you care about her?" My voice trembled with rage. "Get out!" Sasha broke down, sobbing. "Please, just tell her. That's all I ask." I glared at her but finally relented. "I'll talk to her. You'll have your answer in 3 days." When Vaya returned, Noah and I sat her down, hearts heavy. "Sweetheart," I began, "we need to talk. Your biological mother came by today." Via's eyes widened in confusion. "Why? What does she want?" I hesitated. "Your father, Brett, is very sick. He needs a stem cell donor. She's asking if you'd be willing to help." She sat quietly for a moment, processing. "Is he okay? Should I do it?" I reached for her hand, my voice steady. "It's your choice, darling. Whatever you decide, we'll support you." That evening, when Vaya said she needed time to think, Noah and I exchanged worried glances. We didn't press her. Instead, we ate our dinner in uneasy silence, leaving a plate by her door in case she got hungry. As the hours dragged on, we lay in bed, unable to sleep. "I'm really worried about her," Noah admitted, his voice heavy with concern. "Me too," I whispered back. She seemed so troubled after hearing about Brett. "It's a lot to process." He nodded, his expression a mixture of fear and helplessness. "I just hope she makes the right decision for herself." "She will," I reassured him, though I wasn't entirely sure. "We've always been there for her, and we'll keep being there, no matter what." "You're right. She needs her space to think. When she's ready, she'll come to us." The next 3 days crept by, each hour more agonizing than the last. Vaya stayed locked in her room, the only sign of life being the empty dishes we retrieved from outside her door. It hurt to see her retreat so deeply, but we knew she needed time to sort through her feelings. Finally, on the 3rd night, she emerged. Her steps were slow but deliberate as she sat down at the dinner table. "How are you feeling now, sweetheart?" I asked softly. "I'm okay," she replied, her voice steady yet tinged with exhaustion. "I just needed time to think." "I'm sorry for worrying you." "You don't have to apologize," Noah said gently. "We understand. This is a big decision." "That's right," I added, giving her a warm smile. "We support you, no matter what you choose." She took a deep breath, her gaze unwavering. "I've made up my mind. I'm not going to donate anything to Brett." "Are you sure?" Noah asked, his tone careful but curious. "Yes," she said firmly. I have my reasons, and I want to share them with Sasha here. Okay, I nodded. We'll be with you when you talk to her. You won't have to face this alone. I couldn't help but feel a flicker of relief at her decision. My priority was keeping her safe, and I didn't want her to feel pressured or exploited. I texted Sasha, asking her to meet us the next afternoon. When the day came, the tension was palpable as we all sat around the dining table. Sasha looked disheveled, her eyes darting nervously. She avoided looking directly at Vaya, which only fueled our irritation. The silence hung thick in the air until Vaya broke it. "Why won't you look at me, Sasha?" she asked sharply. Sasha fumbled for words. "I didn't realize, I didn't know. My parents helped fix my vision," Vaya said with an edge of defiance. "I can see you now." "They did?" Sasha's voice was a mix of surprise and something bordering on bitterness. "Why?" "Because we love her," I interjected. "And we want her to have the best life possible. You just have to throw that in my face, don't you?" Sasha shot back. Vaya didn't flinch. "Do you want to know my decision or not?" "Yes," Sasha said, her voice cracking. "What did you decide?" "I've decided not to donate anything to Brett," Vaya declared. "Why should I help you after you abandoned me?" "It's your duty as our daughter," Sasha exclaimed. "No," Vaya snapped, her voice firm. "I'm only their daughter now. They actually care about me. Unlike you." A swell of pride rose in my chest. Watching Vaya stand her ground so confidently was a moment I would cherish forever. Sasha, however, turned her anger toward me. "This is all your fault. You poisoned her mind against me." "That's not true," I replied calmly but firmly. "We never said anything negative about you. We only supported her and let her make her own choices." "Vaya is old enough to decide for herself," Noah added, his tone resolute. "And we'll stand by her." "You're spoiling her," Sasha hissed. "I'll call CPS and have her taken away from you." Via's voice cut through the room like a knife. "You never cared about me for 12 years. Now you're only here because you need something. You didn't even ask how I'm doing. But I'm grateful for one thing. I got my sight back, so I could see my biological mother for the first and last time." With that, she stood and walked away, her head held high. Sasha sat frozen, stunned into silence. Noah and I didn't wait for her to recover. "It's time for you to leave," Noah said coldly. Sasha tried to argue, but Noah's unyielding stance left her no choice. She stormed out, and the door slammed shut behind her. We gave Vaya some time to cool off before gently knocking on her door. When she opened it, her face lit up with a reassuring smile. "Don't worry about me," she said brightly. "I'm okay." She didn't want to dwell on what had happened, so Noah quickly suggested a movie night. We piled onto the couch, losing ourselves in the comfort of cheesy films and laughter. A year has passed since that day. Vaya has grown stronger, her resilience shining brighter than ever. We haven't revisited that painful chapter, but we know she's healed in her own way. And as parents, we've learned one unshakable truth: raising a child with love, respect, and unwavering support is the most rewarding journey of all.